والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن استنى بسنة إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone to today's session. And those of you who attended last time, you know that we started Surah Ma'un, right? And in fact, a lot of our previous class, it went into discussing a question. Now, who can recapitulate that question for me? And what do you feel about that discussion? And would you like to add something to it? So what was the question to begin with? Can you all hear me? So the question that we were discussing last time was asked by Sister Masarrat, and she asked why Makkah or why Quraysh, right? So in the video that we uploaded on YouTube, you can find an answer to that question. It's not a definitive answer, but it is my view or what I know in my limited knowledge, right? About what could the possible wisdom be behind that choice, right? Ultimately, Allah knows best. Wallahu a'lam, right? So let us continue with Surah Al-Ma'un. I hope you can all see the screen. You can see the surah on the screen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We discussed the first 3 ayat yesterday. So, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Have you not seen the one who denies the day of judgment? It is as if Allah is asking us that, do you know the apparent qualifications or characteristics of a person? Or do you know what happens when a person denies the last day? What happens to his morality and his ethics? Right? And then Allah explains to us. First, Allah says, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. When the person denies the last day, he stops believing that there is a hereafter. Immediately, so that person, what does he do? He starts very harshly and forcibly repelling away, pushing away who? Even the weakest people in society, al-yatim, the orphans, right? Even an orphan. So his heart becomes so hard, so he becomes so stone-hearted that even a poor orphan whom anybody could pity, he loses the capacity to show empathy and love and compassion even towards an orphan. Right? وَلَا يَحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And he does not encourage the feeding of the miskin, the poor person who has nothing. Right? So leave alone feeding those people with his hands. He doesn't even allow it. He does not encourage it in society. If he sees someone feeding the poor, he tells them, you're wasting your wealth and very soon you are going to be one of them. तुम जल्दी ही इनकी जगह पे आने वाले हो. जल्दी आ सकते हैं city बेचान. Okay? This is unfortunately how a person who loses his faith in Allah or stops believing in the hereafter in what we call saza and jaza. He stops believing that there is a real beyond this world where Allah will punish or reward us. Immediately he loses the incentive to do good deeds towards other people, towards human beings or towards animal, towards nature. He stops taking care of nature. He stops taking care of water. For instance, this person would be wasteful when using water. This person would be cruel towards animals. This person would be cruel towards humans. Now in this surah, Allah specifically chooses to mention the cruelty or the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion of a person who begins to disbelieve in the hereafter, in the day of judgment, his lack of compassion towards the orphan and towards the poor person. These are the weakest person in society. Okay, these are the weakest people in our societies. And this person who denies the last day, he does not feel any sense of duty towards them. Okay. Now here in these two verses, who has been described? The one who does the act of kufr, totally, directly disbelieves in the last day. But after this, the next ayah, they will discuss another category of non-Muslims, right? فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. This ayah should come as a huge surprise to us. I will tell you why. Literally translated, it means so woe be to those, okay? Woe be to those who pray, those who offer salah. Now, isn't it surprising? Usually, you expect the Quran to be full of praise for people who establish salah and to speak about the rewards that are waiting the people who establish salah, right? And to describe how much Allah loves and how close those people become to Allah who established salah. But imagine, look at this ayah, look at the power of this ayah, look at the way Allah is trying to shake us. He says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe be to those who pray. Naturally, this is only one part of the message. There must be a context to this, right? Because Allah would never say, woe be to those who have believed or woe be to those who have prayed. There must be something. The next ayah will give you the context. Al-ladhina means those people. Now look at this word. It's written here, lil musallin. So we said last time that this word li is a preposition. It means for or towards, right? So if I cut off the li, what do we actually have here? The word is al-musallin, but the alif has been omitted because we joined li. Just like I showed you in Surah Al-Fatiha, right? I had showed you this yesterday, last time, that in Surah Al-Fatiha, you have the same example. You have the same example where li has been added. Okay, I will share it on the screen. Li has been added, the preposition li, it has been added to the name of Allah to make it lillah, right? Yeah. So can you see Surah Fatiha? Just let me know. Anyone let me know by typing yes. So Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. In reality, what was it? It was Li and Allah, right? Okay, good. So Alif was dropped, Alif was omitted. It became Lillahi, right? For Allah or towards Allah. Now, in this particular surah, you have the same example, right? In Surah Ma'un, the same thing is happening. Here, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Now we know what li is. So what is al-musallin? Let us simplify it a bit. Musallin is the plural of people who pray. So what would you call one person? If musallin is plural, al-musallin, what will you call one person who prays? What will you do? I'll give you a hint. The ending of the word, this ya and noon, it makes it a plural. So if I remove this noon, if I remove the noon, what will it become? Al, come on. Anyone? If from al-musallin, I remove the noon, what does it become?
Al-Musalli.
Very good. It becomes al-musalli, the one who prays. So musalli is a singular person who prays, right? Now, what is the noun that is associated with this? Salah. As-salah, prayer, right? As-salah. Yes, Hadia, you're audible. Yeah, I heard you. Okay. So, Wailul lil Musallin. Now, who are these Musallin? The next ayah will answer. The next ayah will tell us that these are not every person who prays. Allah forbid, it's not like everyone who prays is doomed. No, then we have to stop praying, right? But it's talking about a specific type of people who pray and the way they pray. So listen to this carefully. Alladhina, those who. Alladhina hum. Okay, whom is also a pronoun for they. Okay, alladhina whom, those who, an. Okay, an is again a preposition like li. Li means for and an means about or regarding somebody, right? You might have heard when you hear on TV, when you hear the hadith, just before the body of the hadith starts, there is a chain. So it says, An Umar ibn al-Khattab, An Ali, An Aisha radiallahu anha. So An means it has been narrated from someone. So An actually means about. Okay, so allazina hum, those who, and about salatihim. Now you see the word salat came here again. So you know that salat means prayer. Salatihim, their prayer. Those who about their prayer are what? Sahun. Again, sahun is a plural word. It means people who are neglectful, right? Allazina hum an salatihim sahun. Those people who are neglectful about their prayers. Now, can you tell me if sahun is a plural, what will you call one person who is neglectful? Just like we had musallun, we said musalli. So we have sahun. What will you call the one person who is neglectful? Come on, try.
Ma'am, Sahul.
Okay, good try. It will be sahi. Okay, it is sahi because these are all adjectives, right? These are adjectives. Like for example, you have the word Kashmir, Kashmiri, Hind, Hindi. Okay, so same way a ya will come at the end because these are adjectives. Okay, so sahi is a neglectful person. So sahun are people who are neglectful. Now here in this we have a hint about what kind of people Allah is talking about. Okay, so he says that woe be to those who pray, but they are what? They are neglectful of their prayers. Sahun, right? They are neglectful of their prayers. Now, why would somebody be neglectful? And what does this being neglectful mean? Or some people say heedless. It can mean two things. Okay, first of all, it means that they do not take care of the times of their prayers. They offer their prayers at a delayed time. They unnecessarily, without a reason, they delay their prayer. Okay, the second thing is when they get up for prayer, they get up in a very lazy manner. There is no concentration in their prayer. Their body, it is not disciplined in the prayer. Their eyes, their sight, okay, they do not control their eyes. Their eyes look here and there in their prayer, right? And it can also mean why would somebody be neglectful? See, if somebody truly believes that this prayer is the thing that he will be asked about on the day of judgment, then he will try to perfect his prayer for the sake of Allah. Now, what would make somebody neglectful? Allah has given us a hint. He said before that the person who disbelieves in the last day, the direct moral consequence of that disbelief becomes that he loses empathy even towards the weakest people in society. Now, here, without describing what the disease is, Allah has described its repercussions or its symptoms. What is the first symptom? That they become neglectful of their prayers. Right? Allah has left out the disease, but we have to guess what the disease is. Now let us take one more hint in the last ayah, in the 6th ayah. What is the hint? The second hint, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Okay, those who yura'un. You know what riya is? Riya means to show off. Yura'un. They are people who show off. Okay, this ya here before ra, it shows that this is a verb. So this is talking about the action of showing off. So there are people who show off. They show off constantly. They do everything to show off. Now what are they showing off here? They are showing off their salah, their prayer. This is specifically talking about their prayer. So what are the two qualities of their prayer, their very weak prayer, which Allah doesn't accept? Number one, that they are neglectful when offering it. Even though they offer it neglectfully. Secondly, they offer it not for the sake of Allah, but to show off. Now you have two hints. If the first few ayat were talking about those who disbelieve, now who are these two ayat talking about? Which category of people?
Munafiqeen.
Very good. Yes, excellent. So these three ayat are about the munafiqeen, okay, and the kind of prayer that they pray just to show off, okay. And why are they neglectful? Because they don't really believe. They don't truly believe. If they would have truly believed in Allah and in the last day, and the fact that they will be rewarded and punished as per their deeds after their death, and that they will be asked, the first question that they will be asked will be about their salah on the day of judgment. First, they will be asked about. If they would have believed, then they couldn't have been sahun. They wouldn't have been neglectful of their prayers. And also, if they would have believed that only Allah can reward their deeds, they would not do riya, because in Urdu we say riyadari sawabkari ko jalati hai. Right? So by doing riya, you burn away your sawab, your ajr. So if Allah is the one who gives sawab and iqab, punishment and reward, He's the only one, then you will not care about people. You will not worry about people. You will not try to impress people. Right? So allazina hum yura'un, they are people who show off even through their prayer. Look how miserable they are, so unfortunate they are. Right? And now there is a question. The fact that kufr leads a person to lose empathy towards other human beings, right? Because he has no incentive to do good. If this world is all that there is no hereafter, then why to do good? Now, as far as the hypocrites are concerned, Allah talks about the repercussions of their hypocrisy or their nifaq on their salah, on their prayer. But is that the end? Are there no moral repercussions? Yes, there are. The next ayah tells us, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they deny. Okay, they deny or they refuse what? Even the smallest good deed. Al-ma'un. Okay, in Arabic culture, ma'un, it refers to the small acts of kindness. For example, sharing a bowl of food, or sharing a bowl of soup, sharing a piece of bread with someone. That is ma'un. When you send a small dish, a simple dish to your neighbor, that is ma'un. When you give a morsel of food to the beggar who comes to your home, that is ma'un. Any small act of kindness, right? So like there, disbelieving friends, because they are friends after all, the disbelievers and the munafiqun. They are allies and friends of each other. So just like their friends and compatriots, the disbelievers, the munafiqun or the hypocrites, they also suffer on the moral or the ethical front. Why? Because they lose the capacity to do good deeds, small good deeds, even very small good deeds. They do not do that, right? Because they no longer believe in Allah. Even if they will do it, they will do it for show off, but they will not do it sincerely to help someone in need. Okay. Now, what is one word? Can you give me one word for all of these actions? The opposite of ma'un, the opposite of, small acts of kindness. You have a
Salihin.
yes,
Salihin.
Salihin.
Salihin is the opposite.
Salihin is the opposite of which word?
So,
Your voice,
what you said just now, Mamun.
your voice is breaking. Okay, let me try to explain again what I meant to say. See, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. Al-ma'un is a word. Okay. Now, yeah, there might be a confusion now in your minds. Ma'un, it looks like a plural, right? Okay, but it is not a plural of human beings. Okay, ma'un is a collective word for small acts of kindness. Okay, now here yamna, what does yamna mean? In Urdu we have a word mana karna, किसी काम से मना करना. ठीक है, हाँ, in Kashmiri Urdu we say mana karna. Okay, but there is an ayn there, it is mana. Okay, mana means to deny or to refuse something. وَيَمْنَعُونَ. Here is the human plural. If you're looking for the plural of what we call the people, yeah, they are mani'un. They deny, they refuse. وَيَمْنَعُونَ. Yamna'un is a verb. It means the act of denying collectively. They deny or they refuse or they don't perform. Okay, they yamna, वो मना करते हैं क्या? Even al-ma'un, even the small acts of kindness. Like I gave you an example of ma'un, sending a bowl of soup to the neighbor or a piece of bread or anything that you cook, or any act of kindness, giving a small amount of money in charity, giving a beggar a handful of dates, anything, any small act. Arabs call it ma'un. Okay, so there are people who deny the ma'un. Now, can you give me one word for all these actions? Which actions? Pushing away the orphan, not feeding the poor, hungry person, okay, and denying even the small acts of kindness. What is one word for all this?
Ma'am, Sahun.
No, sahun, it means being neglectful, but I'm not asking you necessarily for an Arabic word. I'm asking you in general a word. What would we call this behavior? You're not helping the poor, not helping the orphan, not sharing anything with anyone. What quality is this? Which human quality, which evil human quality does this point towards? Anyone else? Shafia? Zara, Khadia, anyone? What quality is this?
Bakhil.
Very good. Yes. Who is that? I think it's my mom. Okay. So such a person would be called Bakhil. Right? Thank you, Mama. So Bukhul. The quality is Bukhul. Right? Bukhul is the quality. Bukhul means miserliness or stinginess. And Bakhil is the person who has the quality of Bukhul. Now, what is the opposite? You see, Allah, without mentioning Bukhul, Allah pointed us towards Bukhul, that one of the consequences of the diseases, the psychological and the personality defects that a person who does kufr or who indulges in nifaq, that is hypocrisy, he begins suffering from an incapacity to do good to other people. He becomes incapacitated. He loses the capacity of empathy and compassion. It means that he loses a part of his humanity. Right? He loses a part of his humanity. Like I remember Hadia, she used to tell me that couplet from Urdu, दर्द दिल के वास्ते पैदा किया इंसान को इताअत के लिए वरना कम न थे कुरूबियां. Right? So angels were enough to sing the praises of Allah, but human beings, they were created for a bigger purpose, and one part of that purpose was to show empathy towards the creation of Allah. So because of kufr and because of nifaq, the person who indulges in it, he loses the capacity to be compassionate. Right? Allah does not require their salah. What Allah wanted from them was to be compassionate, but they lost the capacity for it. So what is the opposite of bukhul? The opposite of bukhul is karam, generosity. So Allah wants human beings or Muslims to learn a lesson from this. Okay? To stay away from bukhul and come towards karam or generosity. And Allah gave us an example in the last ayah by mentioning al-ma'un, that if you have very little, you don't have to be rich in order to be generous. If you have very little, just do what? Al-ma'un, the smallest act of kindness that you can do. So start small. Pass along a bowl of soup to your neighbors. Pass along a piece of bread, something that you have cooked. If a beggar comes to you, you have nothing, give him one date. Give him a handful of rice, anything you have. So you do not need to be rich in order to be generous. Subhanallah. See how Allah teaches us about the disease and about the remedy. Right? If any one of us feels that he has become a stingy person, or feels that, Allah forbid, there are qualities of hypocrisy in him, so how should he treat it? By doing al-ma'un. Start today. Start with small acts of kindness. Okay? So alhamdulillah, we have completed Surah Ma'un, and as requested by Sister Zara today, we will be discussing tomorrow, inshallah, Suratul Qadr, because it's the last nights of Ramadan. So let us have an idea about what Suratul Qadr entails. So, wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. I will stop the class here, inshallah. If you have any questions or anything you would like to add, inshallah, we'll take it up tomorrow. So I hope everything is clear. There are no doubts in anybody's mind. Thank you all for attending. Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan. We ask Allah to count this session, like all our sessions of understanding the Quran, in our salih al-amal, in the best of our deeds, and may Allah multiply our reward, and may Allah save us from the torment of the grave and the torment of the hellfire through this Quran. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.